In Lesson 1.4, students will learn how to use Snap to create animations. They'll do this by changing costumes. The other key thing that they'll learn is how to use the broadcast feature, which is going to be very important for their final project at the end of Unit 1. Let's jump straight to Lab 1.4. The first part of Lab 1.4, Run Spot Run, teaches students to first import costumes, specifically Dog 2A and Dog 2B, then apply those costumes to the sprite, and then change that costume every time the spacebar is pressed to create the illusion of movement. At first, the dog will just be moving in place. Then the students will need to figure out how to make the dog move to the left and move to the right. Let's go ahead and jump into Snap. The first thing that you will need to teach them is how to put a costume on a sprite. So we'll go to the Costumes tab. I've already imported them just to save us some time. So here's Dog 2A and Dog 2B. But what you'll do with students is click File, Costumes. This will open up a huge gallery of costumes, and they'll need to find Dog 2A, Dog 2B, and click Import. To put the costumes onto the sprite, you just click the costume. When we click between them, we get movement. Unfortunately, right now we don't have any program to tell the dog to change costumes. So when we start our program, she's just still on the screen. What we'll need to do is go to the Looks category and find the next costume block. This changes the costume. What's happening here is it's starting at the first costume, then going to the next costume. When it gets to the end of the list, in this case only 2, it's going back to the top. The directions tell us to do this every time the space bar is clicked. So we'll find our hat block with when space key pressed and attach it to next costume, and now she's moving in place. Let's make her move forward by adding the Move 10 block. Now she's moving forward. Let's have her go a little faster by changing 10 steps to 30 steps. Now she's flying. Whoops, now she's off our screen. To get her back, it's always a good idea to keep the Go To right in the corner of your screen whenever you're doing movement with your sprite. This will pull the sprite back to the coordinates 0, 0, which is right in the middle. The next thing that we need to do is we need to make it so that the dog moves to the right or the left. So since she's already going right, let's go ahead and make this the right arrow. Okay, good. Now when I press the right arrow key, she goes to the right. Let's try duplicating this and changing this to left arrow. Hopefully that'll make her go to the left. She's still going to the right. Why is that? That's because if we look at the sprite all by itself, it's still just pointed to the right. So what we need to do is pull in the Point in Direction block. We'll look at it in isolation first. So right now when we click it, nothing's really happening, and that's because the sprite is already pointing right. We want to make it point to the left. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's put our costume back on first. Whoops, that's my fault because I took our costume off. Okay, so now when we push this, we're hoping it'll make the dog turn to the left. The dog's upside down. Why did that happen? That's because the dog rotated instead of just flipping. Luckily, there's a feature in Snap where you can decide if your sprite can rotate or if your sprite can only, let's hover, go left or right. So we're going to switch it to just left, right. So now when we have Point in Direction 270, our dog looks to the left. And when we do 90, our dog looks to the right. It's a little bit easier for students to think of 270 as negative 90, which is saying the same thing. So now we have left and we have right. Let's put left with our left arrow. And the first thing we want it to do when we push that left arrow is look to the left. And we'll put the right with the right arrow. And now our dog is moving left and right. Great. Now we're going to introduce the broadcast. The broadcast blocks work together. So we're going to pull in broadcast and when I receive. So whenever this broadcast block is activated, it's going to send its broadcast to this when I receive block. We need to set what that broadcast call actually is. We're going to name it walk. And now you'll see that when we do the drop down, there's one that's called walk. So whenever this block, broadcast walk, this block is going to receive walk, and then it's going to do whatever script we put underneath it. So we're going to go ahead and just take the walking portion, not the which direction the walking goes, but just the fact that it's going to go to the next costume and move 30, and we're going to drop that down here with walk. So now when I click broadcast, what we want it to do is go to the receive block, go to the next costume, and move 30 steps. There it goes. Let's put her back in the middle. All right, so now we don't really need this part anymore because we're going to do this little trick. We're going to put the broadcast Actually, sorry, we want to do that the other way. First, we always wanted to go the right direction, and then we want her to move. So we're going to point in 90 directions and then walk. So when I push the left key, she turns and she walks. We want to do the same thing when we push right. So we're going to duplicate that broadcast block. All right, and now she's going both ways. Let's just look at that in slow motion for one moment so we can really see what's happening. So first, I'm going to push the left arrow, and you'll see this light up. She'll turn to the left. You'll see this broadcast block light up, and then it'll jump down here. It'll go next costume and move 30. There we go. And we'll do it once to the right. Great. I'm going to let you try part 2 and part 3 of this lab on your own. Good luck.